People told me I couldn't do a lot of things.
I feel like I'm the chosen one.
Look at this. We created this. This didn't exist before we were here. All we are is proud and passionate. I love Toronto. I love this team. And we're going to the NBA Finals.
Nothing matters but winning.
Welcome back to a new season of Rapzville Weekly. We are back coming at you with a new episode 92. And the reason we're bringing this new episode to you guys now, a couple weeks after our last episode, is because the Toronto Raptors just finished up the NBA preseason, which means that we got a new season along the way, the 2021-2022 NBA season. So me and Adam are obviously very excited for what's to come, and we've been seeing some fun play this preseason, I would say. So we do have a bit to talk about. So Adam, in our first couple of games here, we've seen the Raptors take a positive record, which I think is, one good thing that we've seen so far. The Raptors are 3-2 coming out of the NBA preseason. They took the, first game against the Philadelphia 76ers. They lost the next two, one against Philly, one against Boston. Then they won against the Rockets, and finally closing it out, they won against the Wizards, who we do play in the season opener, next Wednesday.
Yeah, it was a pretty good start. There was a lot of players that really surprised me and really worked on their game throughout the summer. I want to start with OG. I really thought his game took a different step in terms of his ball handling, his passing ability when hitting the double team. I really liked his three-point shooting has kept up to par. It's been really good. I still think he could have another 40% from three season. Also his shots off balance, have been worked on. His movements look a lot more fluid, than last year. Last year they were more choppy and, his moves didn't look too good when going to the rim. But he really worked on that. And, he's really improved. I think he could be an all-star this year. I'm really putting it out there. And, I really think that he could be our number one option this year, depending on how bad Siakam's injury is.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of talk. I've seen and heard a lot of things about on TikTok, Instagram. A lot of people are saying that OG Anunoby could be the future star of this team. And if you go back to our episodes last season, we did talk about OG Anunoby needing to make a jump, especially with the Kyle Lowry trade and stuff that happened. We always covered it, the topic that OG Anunoby, he has a lot of intangibles. He has fantastic defense. His shooting is getting better year after year, and he has so much room to grow, and that he has a capability of becoming an all-star player. And we're seeing it before our eyes. He has the opportunity to become a first option for this team while Pascal Siakam is out. Fred VanVleet himself has called OG Anunoby a first option. So with that being said, if he takes that role and he does it very well, when Siakam comes back, who's to say that he can't still be the number one option? So I honestly really like what I've seen from OG. Like you said, there's been a lot of improvement. His three ball's looking good. His jumper's looking cleaner. He's looking more confident, more aggressive. And he's trying new things, which means, usually that he's doing them in practice at a high level. So he feels comfortable moving it to the NBA level game. So I think that it's a good sign for him to see improvement. I really think that he could be something special. I think that his projected step is to become a Jaylen Brown type of player. He started as a defender, worked his way up in his scoring abilities, and can become a top option for the team. Especially as young as he is, he has so much time to grow, and become this great player.
So after seeing, this great preseason that OG has put together, do you really think he overtakes Siakam in terms of the late game situations? Right now we got three options, obviously with Fred, Pascal, and OG. As the start of the season, commencing, who are you taking? As the guy with the ball in the last seconds of the game, you need to make a game winner or tie the game.
Yeah, this is a tough conversation because from last year, we saw how poor Pascal did in that situation, and we constantly had numerous videos, podcasts, where we were saying we do not want Pascal Siakam taking that last shot, and some people reamed us for it, some people definitely agreed, and, our stance hasn't changed. It's not like Pascal all of a sudden has gotten better at closing games and making last-minute jumpers, so we still want to see other people make the shot. But the question of, is OG Anunoby the sole responsibility for that task? Can he do it on his own? I'm not sure. We've definitely seen him become more fluid at getting his shot off. He is a taller player who can shoot and attack the basket, has a lot of strength. So he does have the capability to be the guy to maybe take the final shot in games. But will it always work? I don't know. I still would like to see proper basketball or plays run up for guys that are hot that game. Fred can always be the guy to take a game-winning shot. I wouldn't mind once in a while Trent or Svi, a good three-point shooter, trying to tie the game or take the lead. So I don't want to put it just on OG, but I do think that he is getting better, and I think it's just preseason right now. I don't want to just say this preseason's deciding it all. But, if he follows his path, he does have a trajectory to be a better final option than Siakam and maybe even Fred, because he has the additional size and can attack the basket a little stronger.
I know. I really feel like this confidence from OG has to continue even when Pascal does come back. And moving on, we've also seen other players have an improvement. Precious Achiuwa, the new Raptor, coming from Miami in the trade with Kyle Lowry, I feel like he's been a great asset to have. Another long player, can play on the wing, but we are playing him as center because we don't have the traditional big man. And he's done a great job in preseason of handling bigger guys. He's very strong for his size. He can shoot the ball. He still needs to work on it a little bit with the consistency, but he has been shooting the three, so he's very confident in taking it. He also has a very good inside game, makes a lot of tough layups. He's working on his floater. And he's using his speed to his advantage against a lot of the bigger players. That's the thing that I really liked about him.
Yeah, it reminds me very much of like a 2K center, and is that he's a little undersized, extremely fast and strong, and can play that center position well. We saw against the Rockets, he did this movement, Daniel Tice, where he just spun around, and with the burst of speed, he just attacked the basket and completely caught Daniel Tice off guard. So I think his speed and his strength are just key qualities that he has. He's great on the inside. I think he's got a great touch around the rim. And with the jump shot, it's definitely not a good jump shot, but he is willing to take it. We've seen him hit the three, so there is a possibility there for improvement. He does try a little short midi, like around the corners of the key, or even a deep post hook. So it is possible to extend his range a little bit, which is the upside. But like I said, I think he was a great addition. When I saw that he was going to be a part of the trade, I knew it was a valuable piece for us, having an aggressive, energetic center who can rebound and also score the ball quite well. And so far in preseason, he's done a fantastic job attacking the basket, proving his worth to this team. Another great young addition, I would say.
Yep. Moving on to the next puzzle piece with Svi Mykhailiuk. He has been unreal. We've been raving about this guy since he has come to the team. Just seeing his name pop up on the score saying Svi has come to the Raptors was amazing. We've seen him go off against us in OKC last year. I remember him having a couple big games against us, and we didn't know how to stop his three-point shooting. And I think he's been great in the preseason so far. I think his three-pointer, obviously what he's known for, has been falling. But he's really surprised me with his one-on-one game and his very good defensive efforts. I didn't know him as a pretty good defender, but now seeing him more and in-game, his defending ability has really improved. And also his playmaking ability. Like he has very good IQ, and he kind of takes that European background of having the good IQ and the good shooting. So I really think Svi can be a valuable piece in the rotation this year.
Yeah, but I remember him on Detroit and OKC. Every time we versed them, those are teams that have been in the lower standings for many years now. And when we versed them, we're trying to think free win for the team. And all of a sudden we're versing guys, and all of a sudden it's 3 after 3 after 3, and we can't guard some of these players. And I'm thinking, who the heck are these guys? I never see them. And one name I do remember is Svi. And he was great. He didn't score too many points for those teams. He only averaged about 10 points or less, but his 3-ball percentage was always high, which I thought was very impressive. And I did like the way he played because he was always torching us. He was a good-sized body, around 6'7", who could defend the ball quite well. His IQ was good. He was making the right plays. So out of the blue, there was not real talks during free agency, and all of a sudden we just found out that we had him. We were going to sign him. So obviously me and Adam, knowing who he was and watching the games he played against us, we were very excited. We couldn't believe that we got a pull like that, a little under the radar. No one was really talking about it. And I thought it was great. We finally get a a better 3-point shooter to replace that Matt Thomas-esque role, but he is a 6'7" player who can defend the ball, has great IQ. He's a great role player, 3-and-D, and so far I think in preseason he's done his job contributing with the 3-ball being a threat, making some high IQ plays, good work on the defensive end. I think he's done a great job overall, and I'm excited to have him off the bench for us.
Yep, so far he's been great. And then Justin Champagny. He has been another guy that undrafted. We picked him up. Didn't really know of him until he played in the G League, and he really made a mark there. And then obviously got the contract to play for the first team. He's been really good, just hustling. He's about 6'6". He can shoot the ball from 3 very well. I think that's his main attribute, but he's been surprising me on the rebounds. Every game I look and he's getting over 5+ rebounds, and he's not like a huge body. He knows where to go. He gets in the right positions under the net, and he rebounds the ball very well, giving the teams extra possession. And yeah, he's been a good asset. There's not too much to say about him because he hasn't played too much, but I like what I've seen so far, and for sure, I can see him as maybe being an 11th, 12th, 13th man on the team.
Yeah, his first 2 games were fantastic. He had 17 points in that first game, 10 rebounds, and shot 7 for 12. He was unconscious. I think he was the leading scorer of that game. Maybe OG was close too. In the second game, 10 points, 6 boards, shot well. And just the last game we just had against Washington, he had 10 rebounds as well. So those are the games we're referring to there where he's put up good numbers for a guard. I would say that we saw a lot in Summer League. I think that is a little bit of a deciding factor on why he was signed to the team. He played quite well there. And then now in preseason, we've seen a couple of good games from him where he blew up, and then other games where he hasn't had too much of a impact or role, lesser minutes. He's still done a decent job of trying to hustle for the team, picking up a couple steals or a block wherever they matter, hustling on rebounds. I think there is potential there. Coming off the bench for this team, having him deep in the rotation.
Yeah, and the last guy we thought that made a huge impact was Scotty Barnes. Obviously we know him as a tough-nosed defender, kind of the old school forward. But we really saw one attribute of his game this preseason, and it was his assisting ability, his playmaking. Really making a lot of good passes, finding open shooters, driving to the lane, drawing two defenders, and passing it to the open man. I feel like that can be one of his assets going forward in the NBA. Doesn't have to be. He hasn't been getting too much points. Not really getting into double digits lately. But he doesn't need to. He's that good of a player that he can affect the game in other ways with his defense, playmaking, rebounding, and hard work on the floor. So he's really made his presence known.
Yeah, I want to say every game's kind of put up about 10 points each, more or less, which is obviously acceptable at the role that he can play on this team. He's not a first option. He's a great player to have in terms of defending, playmaking. We were, a lot of people were saying maybe we consider playing him at the 1 spot, being the ball handler, having shooters around him because he can't shoot the ball too well, jumper wise, and because, in preseason so far he hasn't made a 3-ball. So honestly, I wouldn't mind having him at the 1 spot. So far what we've seen, he's averaged about 6 assists a game, which is quite impressive, considering, all the minutes he's been playing. And I didn't think he had that ability to play make. Some of these passes are incredible. I've seen some connections, him and Trent, on cuts, perfectly timed passes, or fast breaks. He never seems to fail to pass to the right guy. He's always dishing it to the proper guy, gets his team the best looks they can. I can't complain, He has the length that we knew he had, and he's used it well defensively. He's made a couple of impressive shots around the rim, and his playmaking abilities overall, I'm quite impressed with him so far. It's what we expected to see from him, and he's coming at it with a great mentality. He's working hard. He's hyping the team up. He's trying to bring energy and spirit to this team, which we haven't seen in a bit. I think that there's a lot of potential here. Hopefully we can work on that jumper this season, but overall, I like what I've seen from the team.
Now moving on to our next topic of the final roster spots for the team. There's 3 available spots and 6 contestants for those spots. So we're looking at Yuta Watanabe, Freddie Gillespie, Ishmael Wainwright, Sam Dekker, Isaac Bonga, and Reggie Perry. Those are the 6 guys competing for the 3 spots available. There's a lot of questions still to be answered since all these guys didn't get too much time in this preseason. But my 3 spots that I would give to for these players would be Yuta, because we have seen him last season. He was part of the rotation, and he has improved, looking at him in this preseason before he got injured. Wainwright has been on a steady upclimb since the 905, and then seeing him in preseason, he's been good. He could shoot the 3, and he has that NBA body, obviously being a linebacker before, so he already has that good body that we need under the rim, especially if we're really going small. And Sam Dekker, he wasn't doing too well in the first 4 games of the preseason, and then seeing him in this last one, he got a lot more minutes, and he got hot in the fourth quarter, and he really made an impact, almost scoring 20 points. And I noticed on the defensive end, he was a little bit shaky, but on offense, he is a knockdown 3-point shooter. He usually makes the right pass. He's not too athletic, but I think we could use a guy like him, and he really gets to know the system, and we can kind of hide him on defense. I think he would be good for the team.
Yeah, I pretty much am going to have to agree with you here, Adam. First off, Yuta Watanabe, if you've been watching the podcast, you know that I've been a supporter of him all of last season. I think he works really hard on both ends of the floor, puts in the effort. He looked like he's had a little more confidence in his game at the start of this preseason, and he is a reliable player, reliable role player for this team, so I think he's an automatic re-sign for one of those 3 spots. Sam Dekker, I gotta say for him, he did not play one of the games of the preseason. The other 3, he had little minutes and little to no impact. I honestly thought this guy was a bit of a bum. I knew he was a good 3-point shooter, but he didn't exercise it too much. He didn't have enough time to shoot the ball too much, and I noticed on defense he was a little lackluster. He was slow. He wouldn't move too much. All of a sudden, he comes in this Washington game, and this is his final opportunity, really the only big opportunity he was given to show his talents. And he capitalized on it. So you have to respect that. I could have swore he was a write-off, but all of a sudden he comes in and he drops 18 points, 7 for 10 shooting, 4 3-balls. And you gotta think, the guy with his only opportunity he had tried to prove his worth to the team. And for that alone, I think you gotta respect the guy and give him his opportunity. Obviously, they've probably seen him work out in practice. They've seen his 3-point ability. You're not going out on a whim on one game alone. But you do have to realize that someone did step up to the plate here, and he fought for his spot. So I think he should deserve it. He honestly was really impressive with his offensive ability. He caught fire, of course, but he is a good 3-point shooter, so he does have the capability to catch fire again. He's been in the league for a bit, and overall, compared to the other guys I've seen, I would like to see that, because in comparison, Reggie Perry I haven't seen at all, but I haven't seen anything impressive. Isaac Bonga, he's been on and off. He is a little versatile, so there's a possibility Nurse and the staff will pick him up and use him because he has a little bit of versatility in terms of being guard skills at a bigger height, bigger body type, but nothing too impressive either from him. And then you have the debate for the last spot, which I'm still considering, Freddie Gillespie or Ishmael Wainwright. They're both, iffy. Ishmael hasn't done anything too impressive. I think I like the summer league performance more. That's where you have the selling factor for Ishmael. And he does have the body type. He does have some versatility as well because he is small, but he can play a little bit bigger. He can shoot the 3-ball, probably better than some of the other candidates. So that's like more of the close debate. But you can give, Dekker and Ishmael both that final 2 spots. And the reason that the other candidate, Freddie Gillespie, slips the mark for me is that he's had an absolute horrible performance in Summer League and in the preseason. He looked fantastic last season, mind you. He did really well for his role. He tried to step up for us, be aggressive, get rebounds. But in this preseason and Summer League, he played bad. He played really bad. He's always making mistakes. He's not making the right passes. He can't make his shots when given to him on pick and rolls. He'll bobble the ball. There's a lot of stuff like that that have really been bothersome to me, and I think that he's almost like pissed his shot away. He hasn't been good enough to keep his role.
Yeah, I can't really disagree. Gillespie has been off this whole start of the preseason and the 905. I think it's just his IQ for the game. I think last season we kind of overreacted to the situation because we were really in need for a big man, and I think that's what it was. So we really kind of got on the Gillespie train and really liked his performances. But yeah, I don't think he does deserve this last position. I feel like other guys have have surpassed him, and he's kind of regressed a little bit. So that's why I would take those other guys over him. And then Gabe, to wrap up this episode here, predictions on the upcoming season. So this is a big topic that everyone's talking about. I'm going to start first with my prediction, and I'm going to kind of lowball it a bit because I want to be realistic. I'm not a type of guy to think over the top here. I'm going to say 32-50 for our season record. And I say at best, we go 500. So 41-41, not making the playoffs this year. Gabe?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of debate. I got some friends who think we're going to end up top 6 in the conference. I got friends who say 8th seed or maybe play-in, and some people I think we're dead last. It's kind of all over the place. There's people hopping on the hype of these young guys, Scotty Barnes leading us to the top, and there's other people that are a little more realistic, developing team. I've been on the realistic end for a while. I've been saying I think this team as it is, we don't have enough skill to win a 7-game series. Because the way that we're set up in the regular season, I would say it's possible we can end up 7th seed, 8th seed, or play in, we get our way through. But then we're versing the 1st seed. So I don't think we have it in us to take down a top dog like that when we're lacking skill. We have the hustle. We have the young team. We're playing in preseason, run and gun basketball, which is fun, exciting to watch. It can win you regular season games. But when the defense clamps up and it's half court, you can't win series like that. So I honestly think that our record will be a little low this year. I'm thinking on the low end, 25 wins. I'm thinking on the high end, 35 wins. I've been a little more pessimistic this season than Adam, so I'm going to stick to it for my prediction. I think we're going to fall somewhere along the lines of 25 to 35. So anywhere around 30, 32, we're both on the same ballpark there, but I think it's going to be a rough season to watch. I've seen some great play from us, but I've also seen some disappointing stuff, and the lack of an experience sometimes shows in gameplay and, lack of chemistry. We've got these young guys trying to learn and develop. So I think that it will be a rough season to let the team grow a little bit. So I think give us a couple years, we'll be up there, but right now I'm going to say it's going to be a bad season. I think we're going to miss out on the playoffs.
Yep. I like your point about the half-court offense. That really made sense. In the playoffs, when teams really lock in and you have to play half-court, there's no more of those transition buckets that Nick Nurse likes to talk about. And I feel the team will go on some winning streaks this season.
Of course.
I just feel the consistency of the team, and I think they just have to come out every night 100% to even be a 500 team, because I think they lack the skill asset compared to other teams. So that's where I think we land this season.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys in our team that are still developing the jumper, and that's going to be a problem to win games, especially on half-court defense. So, prove me wrong, Raptors, please. For the love of God, you can call me a pessimistic fan or whatnot, but I'm praying you guys prove me wrong. I hope you do, because it makes it more exciting for the rest of us. So that being said, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at Rapzville for Raptors news, content. We keep you guys up to date on the best of the best. What are we at, Adam, right now in terms of the followers?
We're at 12.6K, so they've been doing their part.
Good. So let's get to 15K, guys. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Leave your comments down below. Let us know what you want to see coming up as the season starts, and let's go Raptors. That's us signing out. Peace.
People don't really understand how obsessed I am with winning. I don't care about anything else.